Hello, my name is Sean Cousins, and I'm coming from Queen's University. I'm here at Congress 2014 at the beautiful campus of Brock. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about my background, my academic background, and also a little bit about my research and what kinds of interest I have with respect to the questions I'm holding for my research currently. My background, I've got a very diverse background. I can't quite sort of make sense of all of it sometimes, but I would call myself probably an interdisciplinarian, which means that I like many different areas of study. My undergraduate specialized in philosophy at Queen's, and there it sort of captured my imagination about what kinds of questions I'd like to ask and what other people like asking about in terms of very deep issues and understandings about what they want to learn about in the world. There's so many things to think about. I went on from philosophy to education. And I studied for 1 year, and I ended up becoming a teacher. And I fell in love with teaching. I recognized the interconnections between philosophy and teaching. I also ended up learning human resources because I recognized in teaching that there's a business and administration management around that. So I ended up learning a lot about how training and resources and education are interconnected with management. And I also ended up further studying my interests in interdisciplinary humanities because I also recognize that there's a historical factor to management. So I'm sort of all over the place. And so when I see a question, I can captivate my mind around different angles to sort of address that. And when I think about a question in particular, for example, when will people start thinking about what they are thinking about? I look at that and think there's all different kinds of ways we can possibly answer that. But one of my fallbacks that I often do is I look at the terms in the question, and it leads me to asking more questions. So if I was to say there's an answer to a question, I'd say there's another question hidden in that quest. So to answer that question, I'd ask, well, what is thinking? When I think about what is thinking, I'm not exactly clear about what actual thinking is. I know that I often engage in imagination. So maybe thinking is about imagining something that may in fact not be the case and exploring that further. So I think when we start thinking about thinking, it's when we recognize that we're actually being engaged in something that's beyond something in the present, and we can draw upon our own background and leads toward a solution or problem to be addressed for the future. So I think when we think about thinking, it involves the whole body, mind, and our interests about how we want to answer things.